You know, when you first got married, you and your spouse probably talked about dreams a lot. Oh, someday we're going to do this, and someday we're going to do that. And oh, could you just imagine if we'd be able to ever do fill in the blank? Dreaming is a beautiful thing in marriage. It really is. But you know what's interesting is it seems like our dreams sort of dissipate as marriage goes on. We take those youthful, enthusiastic dreams that we talked about together, and over time we just quit thinking about them. Oh, we plan for the future, but oftentimes it's in terms of very tangible things like, well, we need to save up for a car, we need to save up for retirement, we need to do this, we need to put money in the kids' college accounts. And those are wonderful things. Planning is a great thing. But planning and dreaming are two different things. Planning is very practical, it's very exact, you can put a time frame on it, you can measure against it, etc. Dreaming is a little bit more unbounded. You know, I heard once somebody say that you can't outachieve your dreams. In other words, you're probably not going to do a whole lot of things in your life that are beyond what you could imagine or dream of doing. So I encourage married couples to take some time and dream. I know you're busy. We're busy with jobs, we're busy with kids, we're busy with just life. It just seems to consume us. But you know what's funny is a lot of times when I talk to couples, they say, oh, we have an evening out or something and we don't know what to talk about. Well, that's a perfect opportunity to spend some time dreaming. Sit across the table from each other and say, okay, if you could go anywhere in the world, you know, and money wasn't an object, where would you go? And listen to the answers. Does that mean that at any point in your life you will have unlimited resources to go anywhere in the world? Probably not. I mean, maybe, but probably not. But you know what you're going to hear in that conversation? You're going to hear desires from your spouse. You're going to hear the kinds of things that they would love to do if they could. And while you may never be able to achieve that ultimate, if I could go anywhere and money was no object, you know what? Maybe you can approach that. Maybe you can surprise them someday and say, hey, we're going to go do this thing, or we're going to go do that thing, right? You're gathering information, you're putting it in your storehouse, and you're thinking. And you know what? When you have ideas in the storehouse, opportunities seem to surface that you would miss otherwise. If I know that we're dreaming of something and all of a sudden I see an opportunity, I'm far more likely to jump on that opportunity than had we never discussed it, had we never dreamt it. You know, we've been through times in our marriage that are tough financially and relationally and extended family things and just other outside influences, right, that are affecting us. But even during those tough times, I encourage you to dream. Dream about a time that's not so tough. Hey, it's rough right now, and I know that you're unemployed, and I know that we're having to struggle to make ends meet. But you know what? We won't always be here. We're going to get out of this. And when we do, we should, right? That's dreaming. That's dreaming. Planning is saying, you're out of work, so we've got to figure out how to cut 25% out of our household budget for the next 3 months until you can get back into a job. That's planning. Dreaming is, when we get through this, and we will, we should. Do you see the difference? Planning is critical in a marriage. I'm not against it. But don't lose the concept of dreaming. We should all be dreaming. Where do we want to go? What do we want to do? Where do we want to end up? You know what? My goal in my life is I set dreams so high that I'll probably never achieve them. But the reality is I've done things far beyond what I could have ever expected to do, partly because I imagined them first. Sometimes people talk about a bucket list, you know, and what are the things that you want to do in your life before you die? Well, that's interesting. But I can tell you I've had bucket lists over the course of my 38, almost 39 years of marriage. And you know what? We have filled buckets over and over again. And what do we do when they're full? We don't quit. We dump it out and we start a new bucket. We start a new list, right? Because we choose to keep dreaming. I believe that dreaming in a relationship keeps the romance alive. It keeps the intimacy alive. It keeps the conversation going. It keeps hope alive. It gives you something to look forward to. Even if it's in your imagination, it's a beautiful thing. So I encourage you, talk with your spouse. Dream with your spouse. Dream together. What is it you would love to do? Where would you love to go? What would you love to experience? What would you love to have? What would you love to leave behind? Those are all kinds of dreams. They're great conversation starters, but they're also planting seeds of items that might become an opportunity later. So, don't be afraid. Dream a little with your spouse.